Now, tell me, it's the world's first capsule bread maker.
That's it, the only capsule bread maker in the world at the moment. Yep, European designed. It's called the EasyBread. So when you say
capsule, this is it. We're going to get one of these. This has got everything I need to make one of these.
That's it. Everything you need to make a loaf of bread, and in just 3 easy steps in the press of one button, you can have freshly baked bread in 2 hours and 10 minutes.
There is nothing better than the smell of baked bread. That's why we go to the bakeries and we buy them fresh, but they last only a few hours, if not a day.
Exactly.
We don't have any additives, preservatives, sugar, flavours, all that kind of stuff.
I know. We were chatting earlier about the ingredients that are on a store-bought bread, and there's literally lines. You know, when you make bread at home, if anyone's ever tried to make bread at home, you think you just sort of need flour and water, maybe some eggs, maybe some oil, yeast. However, when you actually buy bread from the stores, there's so many other ingredients that you wouldn't normally want to eat. Whereas with this, it's everything that you would use at home, except you don't have to buy the ingredients, you don't have to have a really great recipe, you don't have to add it all in, you don't have to measure the quantities, you don't have to knead it, you don't have to bake it.
None of
this
that.
machine does everything.
Oh. You know what? This is a dream come true. If you love real food, if you love fresh fruit, if you love fresh bread, which I adore, but I want it real. I want it clean. I want it fresh. And this is going to be so easy. Like you say, if you've ever tried to leaven yeast and all that kind, when you have to kind of make the yeast, the bread grow, all that kind. Oh my gosh, it's time consuming. Now, what are we seeing in front of us? What sort of breads are we going to be able to
So these are our different types of bread. There are 5 in the range at the moment. So we start with our puro, which is our classic white bread.
Right.
We go to our crustino, which is our wholemeal. That's our crustiest bread.
Yum.
We have our alpino, which is that beautiful sourdough that has that aromatic and much more healthier as well because of the cultures in there as well. Over to your left is the country love, which is our whole grain. So it's got all the grains in there as well. And we also have a Mediterranean, which is our classic Italian white bread with olive oil added in, which is also delicious.
Oh, so today though, we're going to get one with our bread maker, so you get to go. But I'm going to suggest, because we've got a great add-on offer, so I'm just going to cut straight to the chase and say, you know you're going to love this, okay? There's no way you're sending it back. Get your 5-pack as well at the same time for $24.50, and then you've got all of this bread to get going, $5 a loaf. Then you can come back and buy these packs once a week, once a month, whenever you feel like you need to top them up. You might bake one a week, right? So, so you've got 5 or 6 weeks worth of bread right now. And are you going to make me some toast?
I am. While we're talking, I'm just going to pop some in the toaster.
My mouth is watering. What's this one that you're cutting up?
So this is the crustino. So it's really crusty, and it's our wholemeal. I'll pop in a piece of white as well, just so you can see the difference. And then I'll show you the whole process because it's so quick and easy. So while that's going, it's a 3-step process. Okay, so unlike if you've made bread at home where there's so many hours of work to prep, it's really simple. There is a water system at the back. There's a 400 ml line. All you need to do is fill up the water to the 400 ml mark and pop that back in the back. The next step is to choose whether you like your bread medium, light or dark. And there's a button on the front here, the little picture of the toast, and you can actually just keep clicking until you find what you want.
You might try a few different ways before you know which one's the family favourite.
And different styles of bread relate to different sort of quantities. So you might like a really light sourdough, for example. And then once you've chosen your light, medium or dark bread, all you do is press start.
No.
And that's it.
That can't be that easy.
That is it. And as you can see, it says 2 hours and 10 minutes. So that means that literally in 2 hours and 10 minutes, your bread will be ready.
So where do I put the capsule?
Okay, capsule, actually. Good point, Carla. You need to put a capsule in. So this is the capsule, as you mentioned. Everything's in there. And just to show you what's actually in the capsule, I've opened one up. And there you go, you've got all your ingredients in there. So the only thing that needs to be added is the water, and the machine will actually add the water in as it's needed in the quantities it needs, so you don't have to do a thing. And then all you do is, I usually just turn it upside down, give it a little bit of a shake like that, and you pop it in the top, and as you close it, it will open the top section and it will start.
It's literally like a capsule. So it just pops it up. So what we're not getting, and you have a very similar mindset to me in that I want to eliminate as much additives, chemicals, sugars, and bread is one of the biggest categories that I've discovered that hides lots of these things.
Absolutely.
Until you start reading the labels and you realise how many of these extra things are in there. We don't realise. This is as pure and real as it gets, right?
That is exactly it. As your grandmother used to make, or if you had an old auntie or something like that that used to bake bread. I know with my grandmother, every time I turned up at her house, my grandmother is Cypriot, so we had a lot of Greek pastries happening, and she would make about 10 things at once. I have no idea how she did that, but there was always some sort of fresh bread being baked, and I always said as a kid, I want to know how to make this. And so I'd ask her, you know, what do I add? And she'd say, I'll put a bit of flour in. And I'd say, how much? She'd say, as much as you need.
Yeah.
And I'd say, how much oil? As much as you need.
Yeah.
Okay, you know. Yeah. And so I never got a proper recipe, so I've never been able to properly make them.
Because it's quite simple in the ingredients. It's all about the time it takes, isn't it? And the techniques. You really have to have like I guess a bit of a gift or an eye or experience to kind of get those quantities right and to know when the knead's right and to know when the yeast is raised enough. Oh my gosh.
That's it.
Can I butter this up?
Yeah, please do. Help yourself.
Oh my gosh.
And you're right, you don't have to be a baker in order to make fresh bread at home. With this capsule maker, it's so easy. So just like a barista, you don't need to be a barista anymore to make coffee at home with the beautiful capsule coffee machines. Perfect. Crunchy, I can hear you crunching away on that.
It's so good and it's fresh and it's real, it's wholesome.
That's
you know, crispy on the outside.
Yep, so that's our crostine, our wholemeal. And all the ingredients are actually sourced from Europe, so specifically Germany and Austria. The machine itself was designed in Austria, so it's everything that you would expect from that style of European quality. The grains are all selected for their quality. They're washed in a very vigorous process. The whole milling, grinding process is very strict, as you can imagine, being European. So I totally am comfortable with the fact that the product is not only easy and simple, but also extremely healthy and clean.
Right, and ethical. Now, we talked about the different flavours. You were telling me before the show that gluten-free is going to be coming out shortly. You can add different flavours, like you can add some sunflower, some sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah, anything you like. So I'll show you down the front as well shortly as well. We'll pop some in the toaster. I've added sun-dried tomatoes to one and olives, green olives to the other. But of course
you can add that?
So I'll run you through that. Basically, just before you press start, open up your tray here, which is actually where everything happens. So you've got your baking dish in here. As it needs to throw everything in, it'll throw everything in, it'll mix everything up, it'll add your water in, it'll knead it, you'll actually hear it kneading, and then when it's ready, it will start cooking.
So that's where I put anything extra?
Yes, so what you can do is start off with it in straight away. So I threw in probably a cup of sun-dried tomatoes or a cup of olives. You can throw herbs in there, cinnamon, raisins, sultanas, chocolate. Yeah, you can throw whatever you like, and just be cautious if you are putting a lot of liquid in there. It may affect the bread at the end because obviously you're putting too much liquid. But if you're putting just whole ingredients, maybe a little bit of oil from the olives or from the sun-dried tomatoes, it'll come out rich and beautiful.
I'm loving this product so much. I'm thinking about where it's going to be in my kitchen. I hope you're thinking about this as well, because you think about this tonight, before you go to bed, you could pop in your capsule.
Yes.
Put in the timer. In 8 hours' time, it will be ready. Say if you get up at 6, you put 6, it will turn on at 4.
That's what we didn't mention. Yeah, the timer is one of the best features, because who's going to be making bread in the middle of the night to have fresh at 6 a.m. in the morning for breakfast or for lunches? So you can see here as well, there's up and down buttons. Now it's automatically set for 2 hours and 10 minutes, but if you just increase, for example, or decrease, you can see that it adds. So what I did yesterday throughout the day, I actually made 8 loaves of bread. I was at home for about 4 hours. I popped on the 2 machines, I went out. I came back in 2 hours, changed them over, popped the new ones in and went out again. So I did my shopping, I did my activities, had my appointments and my meetings, and meanwhile my kitchen was baking bread.
So it turns off when it's finished as well? You don't have to put a timing, a cook time?
No, that's it. So if you, as we said earlier, went to bed at, say, midnight, wanted fresh bread at 8, you just set this timer for 8 hours. And when there's 2 hours and 10 minutes left on the clock, the machine will automatically kick into gear and start making. And when you wake up, that smell of the bakery, that beautiful, fresh, gourmet baked bread will be all through your house. You'll have fresh, warm bread for breakfast and for making sandwiches. And it's really that simple and that easy.
I'm thinking right now, when I get off this show, I'm ordering one and I'm going to order like 4 or 5 of these.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the great kit. So that selection pack, as you mentioned, has all the 5 flavours in it. And then as you...
Because then you're sorted. You know, Michael and I were talking before the show, you can spend $8 to $10 on a freshly baked loaf of bread from the bakery.
Yeah, that's it. And we all place that little bit of specialness on the gourmet bread, on the bakery bought bread. And the reality is quite often it's just very, very similar to the supermarket bread with all the ingredients. It's just that it has that extra special
Comes
feel.
in a paper bag.
Exactly. Well, I promise you can put this in a paper bag and feel extra special because it's
what about
just
when
beautiful.
you're entertaining? Imagine doing the garlic bread or all of those kind of things for your guests when you're entertaining.
Exactly.
This is amazing. You do the numbers right now. $1.99. Should we do some numbers, Michael? $1.99 divided by 12 months. What's that? So every month, this is going to cost $16. Divided by 4 weeks, that is $4 a week. And so it's paid for itself, $4 a week for over a year. And then all you're paying for is your bread capsule, which we stock on our website, that work out to about $5, $6 a packet. You might go through a couple of loaves a week. You think about this. If you're a big bread-eating family, think about what is in the bread that you might be buying from the supermarket and the inconvenience of having to get there. Somebody has to go down and get the bread, and it goes off so quickly. You know, quite often it's only as good the day that you buy it. If you buy good bread, it's only as good as that day. The next day, gone.
Exactly, and so the beauty with this is if you've got the capsules in the cupboard ready to go, as soon as you say, oh, you know, that normal call, you know, do you want me to pick up anything on the way home?
Yes.
Yeah. Bread, so that we can have, you know, breakfast and sandwiches in the morning. Well, this is really simple. If you remember that you haven't got bread at 10 p.m. at night, easy. Just pop on the timer, it's ready in the morning. So you never run out of bread again. As you need it, as you said, with visitors coming over.
Oh, man.
Always, when visitors arrive, they can smell the food. Imagine if they could smell the fresh bread as well. You just lure them in, and then you've got the bread ready. You can make your garlic bread, your sandwiches, anything that you like.
So this is an Austrian design?
Austrian designed, and all the ingredients are Austrian and German.
Wow.
So it's really clean, really strict, and really healthy.
I love it. So sleek and stylish as well. You know, it's something that's definitely going to fit into the decor. It's got quite a small, narrow footprint. As long as we can open that lid right, we can have it under the bench.
Yeah, well, that's it. And because the tray comes out the front, as opposed to some bread makers where the whole lid lifts off, this can do that quite easy. So all you need to do is lift that up and pop that down again. And it matches so many kitchens because it's so simple as well. And the clean-up as well is really, really easy.
Oh, yeah, take me through the clean-up.
Okay, so once your machine is finished and it's finished cooking, it'll actually keep your bread warm for 15 minutes. So just be aware, if it's just finished, it's still going to be hot because essentially this is an oven. So I would switch it off at the power point, let it cool down for a little bit, take your bread out and use an oven mitt because it will be hot. I would just flip it straight out and it will come straight out. Some of the bread styles, and depending on the moisture level, you're actually going to get your stirrer that will stay in there just because of the fact that it cooks and mixes around the stirring tool.
So they're little kind of, I see.
So you can get them, not in all breads.
Not in all of it.
But in some. And then all you do is you get this little metal utensil here and you just really hook it in and you pull it out. It comes out really, really simple. Basically, it's just the fact that it's cooked around it.
I would never have noticed if you hadn't told me.
No, exactly. So that just obviously will be in there. Pop out your bread. And then,
we just wipe that out because, I mean, obviously it's just...
that's non-stick. So what I usually do is just either wipe it out or you can just run it under warm water and give it a wipe out and it's done. In terms of the top section, once it's cooled, of course, because it will be hot, this is the top section here, which actually breaks the capsule lid. So I usually just take that out and you get a little brush in your kit as well, and I just brush it down like that.
So you don't need to wet it?
And because there's
no... just crumbs?
Yeah, there's no wet ingredients at the top.
Of course.
The water comes down through the back and in here. So the top is just all dried, just dry flour. Just flour. So that just dusts off.
I'm almost wondering whether I'd have to do that every time.
And again, no, well, if you're making a couple in a row, so what I would say would be a good idea is if you're making bread for the whole week, you want to make 2 or 3 loaves, just make them back to back. So long as you give it about 10 minutes in between just to cool down, you can start it again straight away. So make all your bread, say, on a Sunday or a Monday night, overnight or something like that. And then you just dust it down. And it's just flour. You can see here that I made this earlier and it's just a little bit of flour. You can just dust that down and it's done.
Well, that's easy. It's simple, it's easy. The end result is fabulous. It's healthy, it's real food. We're all wanting to get back to real food, whole food. We don't want the additives. We don't want the added sugar. We don't want the preservatives. We don't want all the emulsifiers and those numbers that they put. They even put colouring in. You know, sometimes they put colouring in to make the bread look browner or whiter or whatever they're trying to sell that bread for. I mean, I don't want that. I just want flour and I want some sort of raising.
That's
you know,
it.
and you know, quite often if you do feel that you have intolerances, I have quite a few intolerances in my family, but I find if we go for a bread that is really as real as sourdough with flour and a little bit of yeast and water, man, we're fine.
That's
right?
it, because often the intolerances or the things that people become sensitive to are the preservatives or are the thickeners or are the colours, as you said, all those numbers that just don't exist in nature, you know.
Exactly.
As I heard someone say once, I've never seen a number 1423 tree, you know. 1423 is not a tree, it doesn't exist in nature.
But for those of you who are celiacs and have true, you know, allergies to gluten, there will be allergy-free capsules, gluten-free capsules coming out, which is exciting as well.
Yeah, definitely. So it is available in Europe at the moment, and we're just waiting for it to come into Australia. So we'll let you know as soon as that's available on TVSN, and it'll be available in the store.
Brilliant. But for now, we have this great pack. Remember, you're going to get one with the machine itself. Now, what's the flavour that we get with the machine?
So it comes with the puros. So that is your classic white bread.
The classic white.
So it's your front one here. And again, depending on what's ingredients are in each bread will depend on the different look, and that's what I love is every time I make one they look a little bit different, so they have that gourmet rustic style artisan style bread, not the stock standard cookie cutter sliced bread style,
which is not fancy at all, and because we still want a fancy looking bread, but we want it real. And what you're getting from this is if you're free of GMOs, no added artificial preservatives, no added artificial aromas or colours, and within here you're going to get the alpino, which is the sourdough, you're going to get the crostino, which is the grains with the rice sourdough as well, the country love, which is multigrain, the mediterrano, which is the white bread with a hint of olive oil, just delicious, and the puro, which is your white crunchy bread. You know, now it's, you know, when you go this real, when you keep it this simple, then, you know, it's when the kids want a nice piece of white bread with butter. Like, that you don't feel guilty giving it to them, right?
Exactly.
It's because it's real food. It's going back to as real as it can be.
That's exactly. It's as if you made it at home with your own ingredients, because literally you can see the ingredients, you can see what's in there, you can read the ingredients. There's 2 or 3 ingredients actually, which is all there is on the box. So you don't want the 3 or 4 lines, you want just the 3 or 4 ingredients.
Well,
so I've got
thank
some
you so
samples
much,
there for you.
and we're going to eat all those. But we've run out of time. We've got to move on in our kitchen must-haves. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla.
Oh my gosh, I for one am completely sold on that.